Good now, revolutionaries, and welcome to the Rise Up Morning Show. That's right. We're cooking with gas here on the Rise Up Morning Show. Today is October 8th. It's a Wednesday. Alex is prepping to be the Dread Pirate Roberts, and I am transcribing and upgrading my studio. We are constantly in motion, and we have made time, all the time, to say, hey, come along, join us. So this is your disclaimer. We've got some wild and wonderful things happening. Our brains are a little scattered, but if you've got crypto questions or you just want to hang out with some people who are trying to figure out what the future is going to look like one step at a time, then you're in the right place. This is your place. So let us know if you have questions and how we can help you. Alex, man, how are you today?
Couple things. One, good. Two, shout out to our friend from Indonesia, Albert. That's awesome.
Hey.
My favorite thing, we don't do this enough anymore, but my favorite thing is just getting a big giant list of where people are watching from, because it's it's like the coolest thing ever, just to realize that all of us are in the same place from all over the world at the same time. Yeah, and I think that's cool as hell.
Alex, I was just thinking about this the other day, and
geography.
I wonder if you have a good solution for this, or if someone listening has a good solution for this. Do we have an app, or is there like a widget we think we could put in the community maybe that would allow us to have a map with push pins?
Oh, so hell yeah. If it doesn't, I'll dog code one. Yeah.
Yeah, and I would love for the ability to make it like semi-anonymous, so like somebody could.
No, you can just put a pin on it. You can.
But I'd also like for people to see like, this is Evan, or this is Alex.
Well, you could opt into it. You should be able to opt into that. You could either just put a pin or you can sign the pin.
And do you know what would be really cool? If there was a token on the back end that when you put a pin on the map, you got a little token for pinning yourself on the map.
That would be cool.
Little POAP.
All right. Kansas, Ohio,
hey,
LA, Houston, 608, Northern Ireland. Shout out, Eddie. Vegas, Missouri, San Diego.
Woo!
Bucharest. There you go.
Wow, amazing. Michigan and Alabama too. Oh,
Australia.
And don't forget Atlanta.
DFW. I'm so sorry. No, actually, I really like that airport.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, before the show, we were talking about all the places we need to go when we take the show on the road, and it sounds like our list is getting bigger and bigger, huh?
Oklahoma, Mississippi, Michigan, Alabama. Dude, all right, how many states? Jeez, London, Rhode Island. There are so
pretty
many.
Much all of them.
Many states.
Have not heard Hawaii yet, so if you're Hawaii, maybe we could get a little Albert, in fact, you shouted out earlier, is a friend of the show who hosts their own educational community. I had the chance to talk with Albert over the weekend, and they're just doing fantastic work. They stayed up till almost midnight their time to make time to talk with me, and are working on, get this, figuring out how to set up a DAO for a piece of land that's like 400 hectares that they want to collectively manage with other people using blockchain. How cool is that?
Badass. That's badass.
Oh my gosh, that's what I said. And today, if that's what you're trying to do, you're talking to us on Web3 101 Wednesday. This is the day where we like to really like slow everything down.
Wait, hold on.
Especially if you're new, go for it.
I forgot I had one more shout out for you this morning.
For me?
Yeah, for you. That's a frog and toad shirt, isn't it?
Yeah, check this out. If we're giving shout outs, I've got to shout out Kimberly. I came home yesterday.
I love frog and toad.
I love frog and toad too. I think they're so great. And Kimberly had made me a have you seen this trend going around, like a boo basket? Yeah. Where you get a bunch of Halloween, stuff in a basket. And I remember seeing that last year or 2 years ago and being like, oh man, capitalism. You know what I mean? Like, what won't they take next? Why do we got to buy a bunch of useless junk? And Kimberly was like, you would like it if you got a boo box or a boo basket. I was like,
probably.
Yeah, I would, but I don't need one. And then yesterday I came home and she had assembled this beautiful basket. It had Cinnamon Toast Crunch cereal. It had Biscoff cookie butter. It had like a lot of treats for me to eat. It had these ice cream freezer balls that tasted like churros. And like some Reese's pumpkins. It was like decadent and, but it was like small and thoughtful. And on top was this little frog and toad shirt. She had like assembled it and put it together in a nice basket with a beautiful Halloween ribbon. Isn't that so sweet?
I love that.
I love frog and toad.
Bullish on frog and toad.
Bullish on frog and toad, bullish on Kimberly, and bullish on Web3 101 Wednesday.
Yeah.
It's your place. If you're feeling a little curious, if you're feeling a little nervous, like you had a question you always wanted to ask, but you didn't know how, then that's what happens. Because when
this is it.
When Will leaves the show, it goes down the tube. Folks who are asking about our friend Will, shout out Mr. Watson, wherever you are, whenever you listen, I know you're listening now, is traveling to Las Vegas, the land of my people today. So Alex and I are going to try not to break the show before he gets back.
Yep.
And if you're wondering what crypto is about, then this is a great safe place. There are no stupid questions here. We're not going to make you feel dumb. We're going to break it down and explain it to you. We've already got some questions rolling in. I've got a couple of little headline things, and I know you had one or two things you wanted to talk about, but I'm going to start with this question from Jeff, who says, can you tell us what PizzaDAO is? Us New Yorkers love pizza. Obviously, we love pizza. And Jeff, good to see you. Always. PizzaDAO is a co-op that brings pizza to the world as a way to celebrate Bitcoin Pizza Day and teach people about crypto. In a nutshell, they host every year a global pizza party. Last year, they had decentralized pizza, meaning all around the world, totally for free for people in over 420 cities, countries around the world. And the members get together to figure out how they're going to do this. They're partnered with a bunch of great crypto companies, like Base, Stand with Crypto. I don't think I'm sharing this on the screen, am I? Let me share this. Sorry, podcast land. If you want to see PizzaDAO, your homework is to go to their website, which is globalpizza.party. You will see Molto Bene, that's their little pizza character. And you will be able to get all the official links to all the places that they live. They mostly are organized on Discord. They have a cool push pin map that shows you all the different places that their pizza members live and where pizza parties have been celebrated. I mean, look at this. Literally everywhere you could care to be. And they've got lots of ways for people to contribute. You can support them by buying a rare pizza NFT. You can support them by checking them out on Twitter or Discord and joining one of their community calls. They have teams for technical people, teams for communicators, PR people. And later today, I am going to be helping them host a live stream. This is at 11 Central, noon Eastern. We're going to be live for the first PizzaDAO dispatch. Dispatches from around the world. We are hosting one of our members from Nepal who participated in the revolution there and helped organize it on Discord. So we're going to talk about that news event from the perspective of someone on the ground. They do cool stuff like that all the time. And there's a great connection between PizzaDAO and Ninja Turtles that folks of pop culture lovers might appreciate. And you can check out the episode we did with them on YouTube, in podcast land, Apple and Spotify or iHeart or wherever you listen. Enzo Pepperoni was the guest. No, it wasn't Enzo. It was Don Scrimmy John. Scrimmy, man. I'm so sorry. I'm bumping myself. The episode is probably 300 and something. I believe we called it Peace, Love, and Pizza, or maybe decentralized.
Probably 300 and something, along with 100 other episodes in that category.
Just wait till I get an AI twin, and then you can ask it instead, and it'll never give you a wrong answer. But we love PizzaDAO, so thanks for the question, Jeff. Alex, you started the show this morning as we wait for more questions to roll in to say that you had something you wanted to talk about. And I think crypto culture is a great place to take it because we often say the only thing missing is you, that it's a movement and you're invited. But we definitely have a culture problem in crypto, wouldn't you say? Oh, yeah.
I mean, because hardcore. It's embarrassing because it's it's largely. And everything I'm about to say is crypto Twitter, which many people regard as kind of the I don't know, what would you call it, Evan? It's the nucleus of the
It's
industry.
the lowest common denominator, but also the epicenter. It's
Yeah.
where people tend to communicate
It's okay. That's true.
about breaking news.
A friend of ours, friend of the show, Wolves DAO member Matthew Buxton, described crypto Twitter as a messaging app for people who work in the industry, and that's the best way that I've heard it described. It is looked at as like the social media epicenter, but the only people reading the things there are people who work here, and a handful of people who are looking for more direct information. There's a few. But like largely people who are interested in it, don't want to make this their entire personality. Don't blame you. Curious about, I don't know, literally could just be looking to get better yield, right? Open a better savings account. That's my whole shtick, right? You're not there. You're not missing anything. And right now there's like I don't know if anyone follows Vo. There's a creator on over there is doing some work with Avalanche right now. She's been talking a lot lately about how weird it is, how much bullying happens over there, and she's not really naming names or doing anything specific. I'll name a couple names. One name in particular who's really this is
really
weird.
Whack, man.
Just so okay. What do we want? Mass adoption, right? It's the thing everyone's always rattling on about. It's the thing everybody always whines about. And yeah, here we go. This on the big screen right now, and coming to the little screen is a picture of a recent tweet from Vo, just talking about why this is such a thing. Normalize is the best word for it, because the example that prompted me to go on this little rant right here is a tweet from like a big account, Jupiter. So Jupiter, starting off with
Damn,
a few
3 Guams.
Yeah, dude, get your shit together. You guys should be embarrassed and ashamed of yourselves. Their like little dipshit intern decided that the best way to get attention yesterday was to like hyper target one specific person who's like a person that people know, with just some really, really distasteful, like very targeted harassment. And that was like their idea of marketing. So this is how we're onboarding with cyberbullying from a corporate account. And yeah, the tweet got deleted, but like then they posted some bullshit apology that was frankly as embarrassing as the original post. I don't know, like hyper bearish on you guys, Jupiter, altogether. And I just think it's so stupid how much whining everyone on crypto Twitter collectively does that they don't have enough adoption. And this is their thing. They keep like just sitting there in their sweaty little echo chamber with all their other like little sweaty friends, just whining mostly about women. And then they also harass them constantly. I mean, there was a tweet from some dipshit at the Korean blockchain week who was literally just posting pictures of all the women he got selfies with.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
He's collecting women on Hyperliquid. And there was like a lot of support for that. Like, oh, hell yeah. And it's like, I bet you guys are fun in real life. Like, I would not trust my kid to hang out with you kind of people. I don't know. It's just like, what are we doing here? Especially as like we are now embarking on this journey to talk about Ethereum specifically, Ethereum in plain English. And it's like, honestly, before I even get to the tech, there needs to be a place where people actually feel like they're allowed to show up and not be an engineer or not be one of the inner circle, like cool kids in this stupid boys club, whatever. I don't know. It's so embarrassing. Like every day that goes by, something happens where like I'm embarrassed to be associated with the industry. And that sucks, because like this is some of the coolest shit we've ever built. The tech here is actively changing people's lives. The access to money you never had access to before, the ability to participate in financial systems that you weren't welcome in before, that you were gate kept out of before by huge institutions and billion-dollar companies and whatever. Like the ability to do all that from anywhere, anybody with $1 is so cool. And how are we representing it in front of everyone with a bunch of bottom-feeding, mouth-breathing incels just picking on women on the internet behind anonymous Twitter profiles? And now you have a brand like Jupiter who, like, how fucking out of touch do you have to be for your social media lead to post something like that and you not to be aware of it?
Isn't
or
that
you
wild?
Not to know that that was going to go? Or how does that fucking person think that that's cool? That's because they never got told from the top that this kind of thing is not cool. I shouldn't have to say that. If we hired a crypto Twitter or a social media lead and they posted something like that, I'd beat the shit out of you. Like,
back it up there, Junior.
No, like how do you sit down and you're like, this one's gonna slap, this is gonna get, this is gonna grow the company, this is gonna get us more users? It's just, dude, it's so embarrassing. I guarantee there are people watching this right now, I know because I'm one of them, that like I want to go out into my everyday life and tell people about the cool shit that we're building and talking about and learning about and using and everything. I want to talk about crypto. You know how hard it is to do that just from a cold start out in the real world? It's because of shit like this. I don't know. I wanted to rant about it a little bit this morning because it really pissed me off. And, you know, I've seen things going after like friends of mine, people who are actively doing more to like onboard than anyone I've ever seen make fun of them. And I don't know. There's like, if you can't tell the difference between like light ribbing, like if I were to post a picture of Evan wearing one of his classic Evan attires and say something about pumpkin spice and pirates, like if you can't tell the difference between that and me posting a picture of someone just calling them ugly,
yeah,
like you're an idiot. Like develop one iota of a social skill and try again. I don't know. So I'll get off the soapbox, but Jupiter, you should be fucking embarrassed. You should be ashamed of yourselves.
You know, I know they're not though. I have heard.
I know they're not.
I don't really know, but you know,
you can tell from that bullshit apology that they're not.
And their founder, like, you just have to listen to him speak. I don't think I think he's the kind of person who probably is like, can't believe they got their, you know, whatever, their knickers in a twist about that. And
oh yeah,
you know, he'll issue an apology publicly, probably because it's good for the brand. But behind the scenes, it goes to show you how early we are in crypto. But that's why it's so important for us to build an inclusive culture now. Like, there's no room for that when we're small. We cannot afford that. TradFi's out here in a suit and tie. Meanwhile, so all the folks in the comments say yes. Go off. DeWoofy said, legendary pop off. We need to clip it. So we can do it. I am a big fan of this.
Yeah, embarrassing. Anyway, in how do we fix that? I mean, I think that this is one of the ways. Like, just a plate. Like, that's why I like Evan. This was such a good idea. I forget how many weeks ago you started, you know, Web3 101 on Wednesdays, but just trying to like strip things back to more of the basics and everything. I do want to also think about like one of the morning show segments, and we kind of do this on After Dark, but we usually do so many like interviews and guests on After Dark that it would be cool to have a morning show segment that's more about like, you know, the level up, the more advanced stuff where we can talk about. There was a great question over here on TikTok just about using this would be a great place to start because we can do this on both levels, about using a decentralized exchange to access a little bit more of an obscure investment. I vividly remember going through this where like I saw a token that I really wanted to get access to, right? We can relate, right?
Yeah, so much.
You wanted to get access to something because you just had a good hunch, you did the research, you found the thing, and then it's not on your centralized exchange and you have to figure out how to get it, but you don't know how to get to it. I so vividly remember seeing like, well, I guess I don't get to do this one because I don't have the right wallet. I don't know how to, I'm not comfortable. I don't know how to transfer, withdraw, yeah, and then you miss it, and you know you did the legwork, and then you can't capitalize. So, do you remember what your first DEX experience? I've talked about mine on Uniswap. Do you remember what yours was? Was it Pancake or was it something else?
I may have made a swap on Uniswap or 1inch or Sushi Swap before I was swapping on Pancake Swap, but I'm pretty sure the first like DEX I came to know and love was Pancake Swap on the Binance Smart Chain. And that feeling you describe, I remember it well. The pit of despair. I was looking for tokens, hearing about tokens, because the way it goes is the time you hear about it, usually on social media, you're already a little bit late. And now we'll get to this in a second because I know you're taking it somewhere. I have less FOMO about it. As experienced people, I would say the FOMO goes down over time. The more I'm here, the less I feel inclined to need to participate in any one particular token or narrative. Chasing narratives is so hard, even for someone as advanced as I've got every wallet.
Yeah.
What was yours? Was it Uniswap? Was that the first place you played?
Mm-hmm.
And what were some of the tokens that got away? Do you remember?
I actually don't remember any of the ones that got away, which is probably
that's very telling.
Very telling. Yeah. I do remember the first thing I did though was, and I did screw this up because I tried to jump right into the deep end and I forgot my water wings. Was I swapped and I got some uni and I had ETH and I was like, I'm going to provide liquidity. And then I didn't know that you had to maintain and manage. I didn't know that it required any upkeep. And so I didn't do that. And then I, watched impermanent loss set in and then I just panicked and I pulled, I freaked out and did the thing. So I ruined it. It didn't have a ton. Luckily, I had at least enough wherewithal to not bet the farm, but I did screw it up.
I actually don't remember a lot of the ones I missed, but I do remember some of the ones I made, and almost all of them, if it was I got to hurry up and figure it out and get into this, did not go well for me. I'll give you two quick examples. One of them, you remember our friend Ethan, the developer, he, shout out Ethan, was talking about a chain one time that was gasless called Conflux. And this is the first time I had really encountered this. I was like, wait a second, a gasless blockchain? Meaning, he was like, yeah, you don't pay any fees for gas. And I looked into the ecosystem. It was big in Asia. They were writing grants left and right. They were kind of they reminded me of what CoreDAO does, big in Asia, writing a ton of grants, interesting infrastructure, at least to some people. There was usage. And I was like, oh, damn, nobody's heard about this in the United States. I'm gonna buy a bag of this for when the narrative pops off or whatever, thinking I just was so cool. I think I bought $1,000 and then it promptly got delisted everywhere. And it was the kind of thing I had to jump through a lot of hurdles to get. I got it on Gate.io, Alex. And immediately after I bought it, and that was after a lot of research, went to Cake, went to everywhere. I couldn't find, it's a layer 1 token on its own chain. And everything is in Chinese, and I got to get this wallet. And finally, I get it through Gate.io, and then Gate.io sends this message. They're like, hey, you're in the United States. We got bad news. We can't serve you anymore. And I was like, damn it. So I was like, where the hell am I going to move this Conflux to? I got $1,000 of Conflux sitting here. I think it did a 2x, and I was just thrilled. And in the time I'm trying to move it, it goes back down to its original price. Finally get it over to KuCoin. And then what happens at KuCoin, Alex? KuCoin says, I am so sorry. I can no longer serve customers in the United States. So then I got to get it over to, I think it's on a MetaMask wallet now, because I found out how to add the Conflux network to MetaMask. But even MetaMask is like, bro, I have no idea what the hell this token is. It shows up there with no value. There is liquidity for Conflux. It does exist, but there is not an exchange that I can legally access to trade it on, or a decentralized exchange that supports the Conflux network that I'm aware of. So that's one example of $1,000 I'll probably never see again, even if it goes up. And then another one was a Ponzi food yield farm. I was trying to figure out how to get into it because I knew I was early. I bought a bunch of this junk token. I was going to farm. The APY was through the roof. I was going to get so much. I was going to sell it. No. I lost a little money. I mostly broke even, but it was never, in my experience, it has never served me to see somebody talking about a token and feel like I've got to get it. It's going to be.
But the ability to be a little bit more tapped in and find something that seems like it could be genuinely interesting, not even because you're being, you're just listening to and succumbing to some aggressive shills, which is a great sign that you're too late. Or that you're taking a much riskier gamble, because from the point that the shilling is going, it could of course continue. A thing could continue to go up for sure. Everything can continue to go up. Everything can go up farther. Doesn't have to, might not. But I mean, I think so. If you were to strip it back to the original question, the skills that you need to, I wouldn't even say master, but become comfortable with in order to do this in any capacity, would be opening a wallet, a software wallet of some kind. There are so many, and the one that you need completely depends on where you're going, what chain you're trying to use, which DEX you're trying to use, all these kinds of things. So with specific questions, we can give specific examples. And then funding it. So how to send and receive from that wallet. We all have videos of this. This would be a good prompt for like a specific walkthrough. It's just like going from zero to buying something on a DEX in general. From zero to DEX. And then connecting the wallet, right? Yep. So connect the wallet to the protocol, whatever it is, whether we're talking about, any of the DEXs, Uniswap, Radium, anything like that. And then finding the thing, and then again, sending and receiving, signing, the process of submitting a transaction request, approving it, and then that's it. Rinse and repeat. And then from there, it kind of goes on. But those core skills there are using a wallet in general, sending and receiving, signing, connecting.
I think we need a Daft Punk song of this. Use it, fund it, find it. And you know what I mean?
Sure. Oh, there's absolutely a cringy crypto remix of Technologic.
I love cringy crypto remixes, dude, so much. Oh man, did you remember if Blast from the Past? Do you remember I don't care about your crypto, boy?
Yes. Oh, I do. That wasn't even that long ago. That was this year.
No, dude, no, that one was a TikTok trend in 2021.
No. 21?
Yes. Yep.
Yikes. Oh my God.
That one was a TikTok trend in 2021. If it's resurfaced, that's great. And a lot of people were like duetting it with verses. It was the verses were made, the song, the chorus was a bop.
I remember the original. Yeah, that one kind of hit. Yeah.
Will, a side note, who's watching today, hey, Will said about funky exchanges. He said, I gave several Chinese and Korean exchanges my identity in 2017. Got to do it, man. Can I say one last thing about this subject of like FOMOing in? Because I don't think I was articulate when I say, if there's a token that seems new, early, promising, and they're offering a pre-sale, or like just the marketing is designed to make you feel like you're early. There are two to watch out for, right? The one that's everywhere on, social media, everybody's talking about it. And the one that you discover that you feel really early to, especially if everyone is talking about it, and especially if they're leading with the token. Like they don't have apps, they don't have DEXs, they don't have this. Everything is coming soon, but the token. And you can get it. It's a pre-sale. Buy it now. Got to swap for this, got to do it on this network, whatever. Like it's good to know those skills. It's great to be nimble, but anything like that is not worth your time. Skip it. It is designed that way to make you feel early because you are the product. Don't you think, just ask yourself this, don't you think tokens like that, for people like me and Alex, we've been around, and even people who are like deeper, somebody like, Vitalik Buterin, the founder of Ethereum, CZ, the founder of Binance, don't you think if those tokens were really going to change the world, that all the most tapped in people in our space would be fumbling over themselves to buy it? They'd sell their house, they'd sell their car if they really thought this was going to be better than Bitcoin, better than Ethereum, promising new. I would buy it. I don't buy those tokens. And it's not because this one could be different. It's not different. All tokens built like that you are the product. They're designed to sell you something. You can skip them. Alex, speaking of tokens, I have to break some bad news to you.
Uh-oh.
Albert asked if we could compare USDC to USDT. They were concerned a little about some of the opaque reporting of Tether. And before we just address that simple question about how to vet any token, how to vet a stablecoin, because I think that's a good place to go next from where you started us with skills, I have to tell you that on October 14th, if you are not a Coinbase One member, Coinbase is ending the yield for USDC on their platform.
Saw that coming.
Saw it coming. Big time. Saw it coming. Big time. Why did you see it coming, Alex?
Because margins. They're a publicly traded company. They have shareholders to appease. Can't be giving away the money like that. You got to keep it. Got to get something out of them. Got to charge that subscription. This is the perfect impetus to discover decentralized yield opportunities.
Seriously.
Shout out to the carrot. Eat your veggies. 11.2% APY.
This show is not yet sponsored by DeFiCarrot, but James, we're coming for you, man. We love their product. We fell in love. This is a token you can buy that represents the work these little DeFi monsters are doing under the hood, so you don't have to. That you can verify at any time. That earns you yield. You don't even have to think about it. And is it better than most savings accounts, Alex? Hell yeah.
Okay, just for context, I currently have about 1/10 of the amount that's been in my actual IRL dollars in an American bank savings account in my Carrot account. And I've earned, I'm not exaggerating, over. Okay, let's see. It's like $7 compared to 17 cents. Whatever. So like last year, my account earned 17 cents in interest from USAA. Thanks, guys. Thanks so much. Honestly, it's like, just keep it. All right. Just
50x there, Alex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus. And then the carrot has given me $7.64 in interest, and it's only been like 2 weeks. And it's a lot less. And that's the difference between, I would say an average of low end 8.8, high end 15.
Yeah.
So split the difference with the amount of time, 9% interest. And don't worry, we'll slow it down. We can talk more about like the specifics here, but and literally just like for the record, not sponsored, not hosted them on the show, would work with them in a heartbeat. Currently not being paid. James could tell me go to hell and I would still eat my veggies. And we talk about this a lot. I've been experimenting with lots of these, like the best place to put my savings account. This is my favorite, far and away.
Absolutely love it.
So shout out to the carrot.
Absolutely. But you can watch the whole episode we've done with DeFiCarrot and learn a lot about them. I actually would love to stay on this stablecoin because I think it's a good way to talk about other skills of vetting tokens. You set up the skills like how do I get a particular token that I'm going to need, but you also need some skills to like vet the token before you buy it.
Sorry.
Yes.
It's Web3 101 Wednesday, and I'm just saying the carrot obscurely like an asshole. We are talking about a DeFi, decentralized finance protocol app, project, website called DeFiCarrot, DEFI carrot, just like the veggie. This would be an embarrassing time for me to are carrots actually vegetables, or is this one of those ones that's actually not a vegetable?
Pretty sure carrots are vegetables because they might be tubers. They're probably tubers now that I'm thinking about it. They've got a plant, they grow underground. Are tubers considered vegetables? Damn, man. Wow. Carrot can be accessed via a website. So that's how you get it. Man.
Root veggie. Okay, I'm seeing some thank you. Even if you guys are just lying to make me feel better, I appreciate you. Okay, so that's what it is. DeFiCarrot. It is a place. It's one of these things that you can connect a wallet to. In answer to several questions, the wallet that I use there is called Phantom, and you can take USDC as an example, which is a stablecoin, a cryptocurrency that is pegged to the value of the US dollar, and you can park it there, the same way that you would deposit to a high yield savings account or to a checking account or to any account with a bank, and they will pay you interest for keeping your money there. And there are some more complicated things that happen on the back end that we went into in great detail on the episode with them that we could definitely go into more detail on later. But for right now, suffice it to say, it's an app that you can save money with, and they will just pay you a respectable interest rate.
I got one for you, Alex. I'll just say it facilitates the same services as your bank with less overhead.
Yep.
By allowing people to interact directly. It replaces some people with computer code that anybody can verify. So
That's
you can
a great way to
have confidence in it, and it's cheap.
That's a great way to kind of describe the general concept of like, what are we doing in decentralized finance? We are replacing unnecessary middle people with smart contracts, which are specific pieces of code that trustlessly verify things to be true.
Yeah.
So that you can keep more of your money. There are less people needing to reach their hand into the cookie jar to take a cut or facilitating something. The best example I can think of, something that maybe some people can relate to, I recently bought a house. The amount of people involved in me making that purchase was a lot, and I had to pay all of them a lot of money. So they all took a cut, and that doesn't necessarily need to be the case. So what makes it trustworthy as a platform? Great question, Danny. I would say, and Evan, I'm curious if you would say this any differently. I would say the fact that the code used to make these things run, you can check yourself. You can inspect these things more closely. There's a lot more in theory, right? If this is not the case, then I would say that it's a cause for at least further investigation, not necessarily concern right off the bat, but look further. You can look up this stuff. You can ask pointed questions. How are you able to do this? Where does the money for this yield that you're paying me, this interest that I'm earning, where does it come from? How does this work? How are you able to do this? How is this sustainable? What are the problems? What are the weaknesses? What do I need to be aware of? Trust but verify. You can look into all of these things for yourself. The code is available for people to look at.
Yeah. And it takes a little bit of skill, and it's the kind of skill that would be helpful to learn with other crypto users. And I would invite you, if that's something you want to learn, to check out our community at community.rumshq.com. On this live stream, you should be able to find the links, click the button, head to our profile, wherever you are, whenever you listen. And if you're in podcast land or watching the recording, hey, we hope your candles are green. The bio has all the links, but community.rumshq.com is the easiest, simplest one. Join the community free, start typing to us. We're there 24/7. And that's a great way to like have a back and forth conversation with us or another friendly, helpful crypto user. Nobody's going to try and like sell you anything scammy, and you can learn this stuff. In terms of like how it works, just one more granular level, and how you can verify the source of the yield. This goes back to like vetting USDC versus USDT, Carrot specifically. And many of these DeFi protocols, they use tokens, which are a new way for people to make meaning, like words or painting or music are new mediums. They're mediums, they're different. Tokens can help us to communicate about things like money. And the DeFiCarrot token specifically is not like another crypto token like Bitcoin that just goes up and down in value depending on how people trade it. The DeFiCarrot token is the way their platform works is I go to them the way I might go to a bank. I trade them my digital dollars, my stable coins or other cryptocurrency for this token called Carrot. And Carrot is like a receipt token that represents the dollars I gave them, can be redeemed for the dollars I gave them, and any interest that has accrued to my dollars during the time they were deposited. So it compounds that way. Go ahead, Alex.
I think one thing that would be like a good seed to plant in the brain when you're kind of trying to start wrapping your head around how these different kinds of tokens can work. The cool thing about tokens in general, and I'm speaking extremely generally here because there are tons of different kinds. The best way that I've ever found to think about it is that if you can describe something, you can create a token to represent it. Evan often says that you can create a tangible thing out of an intangible thing by quote unquote tokenizing it. So, and seriously, let your imagination run wild when you're trying to conceptualize that and think about what that could mean. So like Evan's talking about, this Carrot token would be one that is created to identify the value of a basket of things that are valuable. And it kind of marks that. But Evan could create a token that signifies the cup of coffee that he makes himself every morning. And he could create a single token per cup of coffee, and someone could get that token from him. He could give one away every single day, and each one would have a number. And then at the end of the year, Evan could do a drawing, 1 out of 365, and whoever had coffee cup number 121 would win a fabulous prize. And the way that you would know that it was 121 is because the token says that that's what it is. And because Evan wrote that onto a blockchain and it cannot be changed. So if you can describe a thing, you can create a token to represent the thing. And the way that people do that is the reason that all these different cryptocurrencies exist. And it's up to all of us to look at them and determine whether or not that one makes sense. This one seems like something interesting. This one seems like something that could potentially be valuable. Maybe this one seems weird. Maybe I don't like this. Maybe I don't care about whatever this represents, so on and so forth.
And in terms of the risks, I keep saying I'm going to tell you how to vet this. The risks and how you vet it. You have several risks that you're taking on, just like you might with a bank. You know, you are trusting that the people who operate the business are operating with integrity that you can get to verify. At a bank, you don't get to look into their back room or look into their system to see how they're running the computer code. The great thing about any blockchain-based business, like Alex said, is you can look at what's under the hood. You can see the details of the transaction. It requires a little know-how, but it's not technical necessarily. The way that using Google or email requires a little know-how, but isn't too technical. Most people will be able to do it. And it'll get easier all the time. The other thing is there are risks based on the type of lending people are engaged in. If you opened a bank that was, I don't know, generating a savings for people by trading really risky assets, then you could have the equivalent in crypto. You could also have banks that give you very boring returns, that are investing in very boring assets. But the key difference is, and I just want to zoom in on what you said about it being immutable and on a blockchain. Instead of trusting one company, one government entity, one person to do what they say they're going to do, we are relying on a network of users just like us, whose computers or phones, their machines, they help verify this information. They host it. Because crypto assets, they don't physically exist. Unlike my cup of coffee, tokens don't physically exist. This is something that's tough for people to grasp, but one of the things that makes crypto so cool. Because they don't physically exist, it is easy for a network of computers to communicate about them instantly without a need for human intermediaries in a way that is observable. And so that if it was changed or tampered with, everybody everywhere participating in this network or computer program, which lives on all of our different computers, would instantly know and be able to address. And the other thing that is cool about this is these networks of computers, they keep each other honest, because let's say everyone watching the show today, me and Alex and Will and everybody, we're running a blockchain network like Bitcoin. Our computers are running a piece of code called the Bitcoin protocol, which has the rules about how tokens like Bitcoins can be used. Bitcoin's tokens are used for peer-to-peer transactions, swapping, to cover debts and credits. So all the members of the network have a copy of the Bitcoin code on their computer. And if I, as a computer operator, wanted to fudge my copy of this digital record, the one that's on my computer, to make it look like I had 1,000,000,000,000,000 trillion Bitcoin, and I was like, hey, Alex, I'm going to send you 10 of my 1,000,000,000 trillion Bitcoin. What happens is not because I don't control the network, because Alex doesn't control the network, I can't do that. What happens is my machine broadcasts what I want to do to all the other machines running this code. And my machine is the only one that says I got $1,000,000 trillion. So every other machine goes, wait a second. That's not what I've got. And just says, nope, and prevents it from happening. It can't be pushed through by me because I don't own all these machines. I don't know who owns all these machines. They're all over the world. And every one of them has a vested interest in keeping the network honest. It's not like your bank where if I gave $100 to the teller, they might slip me a little extra. It's not like your bank where somebody might make a sloppy mistake or be too tired that day, or somebody could like forge the information and slip me a bad bill. It doesn't work like that. It works the way a calculator does math because it's a computer. And if the programming has been changed, everybody will be able to see it because the computer lives on many different machines in many places around the world. So it's much more resilient, much more secure, much more robust, easy to verify. Alex, did you see in the comments? Our friend James from DeFiCarrot says,
speaking of carrots,
got to know where the yield comes from.
You have to.
You have to.
Yeah, that's the number one question to ask if someone is ever advertising an interest rate. How do you pay me that? Where does it come from?
And fortunately,
they should be excited to tell you.
Exchange, you can see it.
Yep.
Most of the time.
Yep. Anyway.
Really quick question from Bearded and follow up. Where did you see the news about Coinbase? I saw Machiste, aka Mike, also asked this. I got it from Solom, our friend and chief gift officer on TikTok, and verified it on the app. Under USDC, they have a learn more button, and it shares more about it. But if somebody has a specific URL, I would love to hear it because it sounded like Mike was curious about it too. And if we're wrong, if it's been published and then removed or something like that, please let us know because we don't want to have bad news for the people. That's not verifiable. Alex, speaking of news, I had just one interesting news story to fill people in on, which is that did you see yesterday? We talked about it after the show. Polymarket got a $2 billion investment from ICE, the Intercontinental Exchange. This is the company that runs the New York Stock Exchange, and now they're an $8 billion company. Whew. I mentioned that on Web3 101 Wednesday because, one, it's a big piece of news, and folks might have heard about Polymarket. I think many people will learn about crypto from apps like that wrap up an experience we're familiar with, in this case, betting, speculating, and then add crypto to it in a way that makes it a little better or easier or cheaper or something. And that'll kind of usher them in. So if you're interested in a little side quest or some homework that'll help you learn about crypto without feeling too overwhelmed, you might just Google Polymarket and start to read about how it works. Certainly our friends over there are celebrating about that. I want to have our friend Josh Hudson on the show because he just got hired over there from Agora to Polymarket. So shout out Josh. Can't wait.
Yeah, the concept to look up here would be prediction market. And we talked to one of our friends from Myosin yesterday and had a couple of interesting takes that I think are worth. I think we can explore this probably tomorrow morning, just a little bit more, at a granular level, but
this is super topical.
Yeah, just talking about how, a trend, as we talk about like narratives that could potentially be something that pop off in the space, prediction markets. I mean, with this much attention going to Polymarket, now we're seeing, what's the other one? Kalshi or something? Yeah.
Kalshi. I see their ads on TikTok all the time.
Yeah, so I've seen them getting some more circulation on Twitter as well. So that's 100% a thing. Just the financializing. I might have just made that word up, but I think we know what I mean. Of everything, I mean, literally everything. What color snapback am I going to wear every morning? Could be financially, there could literally be a market for that. It's just one of those things that's continuing to grow. Clearly there's interest there. Clearly there's product market fit. Polymarket is wildly successful, and investments like this just drive that home. Couple questions, Evan, if you're ready to move on. So going back, I'm going to rapid fire these questions to you, and then we'll come back and hit each one of them. There was a question about how do you buy an NFT? I have a screen share ready to go through that. What would happen if any Bitcoin moved from Satoshi's wallet? There was a question for lists of S-tier cryptos that you would consider long-term investments. And I think rather than just give you a list, we do have a pretty good explanation of kind of what goes into the determination of something being an investment versus a speculation. That's a good little bumper sticker to share. And then we can start there. The Coinbase news that Evan alluded to that we covered at the beginning of the show was simply the announcement that they are ending USDC yield for every user who is not a Coinbase One subscriber. So unfortunate, absolutely predictable. They have shareholders. They can't be given away that much of the pie for free.
And honestly, Kraken and everybody else who had to do it to keep up is like, oh, thank God that's over.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah, 100%. Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. No, I mean, I think it's ops normal. It's nothing to be concerned about. It is honestly, frankly, kind of cool that it lasted this long. And honestly, again, not sponsored by Coinbase. I, don't exclusively use their products, have used many of them. The subscription to a platform like that makes a lot of sense if you do enough movement to where because you can absolutely come out of that on top. Like if you make enough trades to where the fees would stack up to more than $30 a month, it's a no-brainer.
Well, and you're not the one user to get the Bitcoin card, the Coinbase card. They have good incentives.
I mean, what are they doing? They are building a full spectrum finance ecosystem with all of the parts. I mean, and they've got the connections to make it happen. You've got, the Coinbase, the card is an American Express card. I mean, name a name that's like bigger in the credit card, charge card, whatever.
Oh yeah.
Than American Express. I mean, there's a few up there, obviously the big ones that I would think of, Chase has some crazy cards and all that sort of stuff, but like American Express that's a big name. So that was the Coinbase news. Evan, we want to start with from the rapid fire. What would happen if Satoshi?
We can start with Satoshi too. You said you had the NFT thing pulled up, so let's start there. And I want to pull up a resource about Satoshi while you do that.
All right.
Sound fair?
Yep.
Also, I just want everyone who's watching on the TikTok live stream to know that this is probably the only time that Alex will appear taller than me. Look at this. I look diminutive. Not that it matters, but like I just made myself a note that was like, get camera in alignment so that we appear.
Yeah.
This is why everybody thinks I'm shorter than I am.
No one needs to pay attention to the fact that Evan is a lot taller than I am.
I don't know about a lot.
Not today.
I was just watching. I was like, what the hell is up there? So NFTs, what are they, Alex?
All right. NFT stands for non-fungible token, which is a fancy jargony way of saying these things are not all the same. So fungible, kind of, what would be another good word that you could change? Interchangeable.
Yeah. I often use the example of a dollar. Yeah. All your dollars can stand in for each other. They're all worth the same. Even if yours is clean, mine is crinkled.
Yeah. So if Evan has 100 $1 bills and they are all just, fresh from the presses, they are all worth $1. But if Michael Jordan signed one of those, that one single dollar bill would probably be worth more.
If you could prove it.
If you could prove it. Yeah.
It's tough to do that, though. Sometimes it costs a lot. And sometimes NFTs, you can be fooled.
An NFT is basically a way that you can prove that a piece of something digital is unique. And we've never been able to do that before NFTs existed. If I draw something on the computer and I save that image file and Evan screenshots it without an NFT, Evan could have a case to try and pretend that he made that mine was the copy. And it would be very hard to prove that. That was incredible. That crazy looking spaceship on TikTok.
Rocket ships.
It would be pretty hard for me to prove unequivocally that mine was absolutely the real one. But with an NFT, I could do what's called minting it, which is essentially writing it onto a blockchain. And then I would have irrefutable proof that mine happened at this time with this information. And if Evan did not have that information, I would have an immediate leg up saying like, well, I can prove this is when mine can you prove when yours came? And he would have to say no. Or if his was also minted, it would say on the chain that it came before or after. Then you'd know who was lying. So how do you buy them? The process that I described earlier for acquiring something through a decentralized exchange. So the skills that you will need: a wallet, using one, putting something in it, funding it, sending and receiving transactions, connecting the wallet to a thing, and signing a transaction. It's the exact same process. And there are lots of different, we call them marketplaces, where you can shop for NFTs. Quick disclaimer. Nothing specifically says that NFTs have to be valuable.
No.
The idea is that you can use an NFT to mark a piece of digital property as the one that you say it is. Whether or not that piece of digital property is valuable is reinforced by the presence of the NFT, but not defined by it. So if you did a random doodle on Microsoft Paint and just minted it, it's not automatically worth money.
No.
Whether or not it's worth money has more to do with what that is specifically than anything else. So just keep that in mind. These things are not guaranteed to be valuable. Just because something is an NFT does not make it valuable. But things that are valuable can be protected by NFTs. And then, the process. So the process I described, I've already connected a wallet. You would connect your wallet to the thing. This particular marketplace is called OpenSea. There are many others, Rarible, Magic Eden, just to name a few. And then effectively you just go shopping. So here, this one has been making the rounds lately. This is an NFT collection.
Oh yeah. The hyper.
Hyper. Bunch of cats.
Kids are doing
Hyper liquid cats. And I would just, pick an arbitrary one, whatever, and you would buy it. If I were to click buy and I don't have the right token to pick this up, and the floor price on these things is apparently $60,000, so no thank you. Yikes.
Damn, son.
Yeah. Then I would get the prompt in my wallet to sign a transaction, and then this token would be transferred, and the tokens in my wallet would be transferred to whoever owns this, and the purchase would be complete. I mean, that's kind of it.
Now, Jeff asked a great follow-up question, Alex. Is NFT related to POAP at all?
Yes. POAPs are NFTs.
You're talking about POAP, Proof of Attendance Protocol tokens. What is a POAP, Alex?
So they're kind of cool. They're like think of them like badges to mark that you did a thing, except that badge is on the blockchain. So it is irrefutably, provably correct. So that's pretty sweet. We've used them on the show many times. If you attended episode 200, you got a POAP to mark the fact that you were there. If you claimed it, we did the same thing for episode 300. We've done secret ones. We've done ones to mark, events that we held, all sorts of stuff. I don't know. Just you can create a POAP, a proof of attendance protocol, NFT, for basically anything. And if someone claims it, it's just a way to mark that they did the thing and put it on chain. We a friend of the show, Dave Dybert, used to give one away every time he met somebody. So you would have a little NFT proving that you met Dave.
Yep.
And the
I
only
usually
way you
do
could
it for conferences.
Yeah. The only way you could get that is if you met Dave and Dave gave you one. So anyone who has one knows that they're part of an elite club of people who have met Dave.
Definitely an elite club. And that's a cool thing about it is you can look them up online, on chain, see people's wallets and the tokens they've collected, like stamps and a digital passport. Bearded says, in essence, NFTs are a revolutionary way to digitally represent and transfer ownership of unique items.
Correct.
Definitely for digital items and increasingly for physical items too. And if you like POAPs and NFTs, then you got to tune into Rise Up After Dark next Wednesday, a week from today, because our friend Isabel, a co-founder of POAP, is coming to Rise Up After Dark to talk about what they're doing next, and to give away a co-branded POAP. I am so excited to have a Rums and POAP collab drop. That is a highlight for me, I've got to say. Big fan.
In answer to the question, could I create an NFT of my house and sell it? In theory, yes, you can. The thing to remember as we get into things like tokenizing real estate or, cars, anything like that, is that because a legal process exists to sell that thing in general, using an NFT to market at this point still falls into the same category. You know, like if I went right now, because I could go right now to any one of 1,000 different places and just create an NFT and say that it represents my house. Have to keep a couple things in mind. I don't own my house outright. I have a mortgage. If I were to sell that NFT to Evan, just me, could I do that? Yes. Would it necessarily give Evan any legal claim over my house? No. Would the bank give a shit? No. We're not there yet.
Yeah.
I believe that we're heading in a direction where things like that will be a thing, but I don't think we're just going to go straight from what it is now to I sign one transaction, transfer one NFT, house is now Evan's. You know, it's probably going to be more of a thing like, hey, this document that you have to sign, this is now an NFT. This is an NFT. You can eliminate like one ingredient of this entire equation with tokenizing this piece. But with something as complex and as robust of an experience as selling a house or buying a house, there's a ton of ingredients. So that's going to take a minute. There are projects that are working on, you know, tokenizing real estate and selling real estate through tokens. Many of them exist. Many of them are operational. There's a whole lot of differences there, but
it's a lot like crypto loans. Like there are Bitcoin backed mortgage products that are like licensed, compliant, actually get an official mortgage with Bitcoin. Mm-hmm. And then there are also like DeFi loans. You know, if I've got a bunch of stuff sitting in Carrot or whatever, I could technically probably take those tokens somewhere else and get a loan for them that I could turn into dollars and use to start a business or whatever else I want. But it's a little clunky. NFTs are the same way. The best thing you can do to learn, Danny, is collect, create. I think the most notorious use case for NFTs like crypto is currently speculation, but that's just a small part of what this stuff is going to be. And I'm curious, Alex, before you leave OpenSea and before we move on to the next question, can you possibly, I believe they have a create a token, like you can launch a token or create an NFT, mint one, we say, somewhere here, now that your wallet is connected. I don't know, maybe Studio is it. So if you go to OpenSea.io, their Studio tab allows you to create, although I don't see where.
Yeah. Well, I'm on.
Are you on the Solana network? Is that why?
I'm on Sol right now.
Oh, I see. So different website. Try to maybe swap to like the Polygon network. Oh, he's got to connect a different wallet. This might be a good thing that we could do sometime in the community if you're interested. The process largely is the same. You would go to a marketplace or a website like this, and you would be prompted. Most non-fungible token launchers or studios or whatever will prompt you to present a digital picture, a JPEG, we say, like one of these cute little digital pictures here, that then they will create a blockchain transaction to like represent this, we say, image as a token on chain to mint it, and they'll send it to your wallet, the wallet that you have connected, and you can sell it on the marketplace. You can send it to me or Alex. You could do any number of things with it, but it creates an immutable record that as long as, you know, the blockchain network you created the record on lives, it'll be there. Nobody can destroy it. Nobody can deteriorate it. Nothing can happen to it. And that's how I would recommend you get started. So Alex is here on the Launch Your NFTs screen. And this is one of many, like no code things. Maybe do an open collection. Because I will give you an example. I have an NFT collection. Even though there's no precedent for it, I think NFTs will one day be used as patents to document proof of conceiving an idea. Maybe for legal reasons, maybe for creative reasons. And so I have an NFT collection on an obscure network formerly known as Elrond, where I document
RIP
interesting ideas that I have that somebody might want to license one day, or even if, you know, I mostly am interested in giving my ideas away for free, but they're just little images, little descriptions of the idea, and they create a record, an immutable record of the date, the concept, just to prove that I did a thing. Does it stand up in a court of law? No, not yet. And will it be valuable someday? Maybe, if my story is valuable. Just like those Cardano NFTs we got, Alex. Will they be valuable someday? Probably not, but maybe if somebody sees them as a collector item. So what's the process here like? It looks like Alex is giving a name. Start with your collection contract. His name is whatever. His token symbol is blah. Love the ticker blah. Think it's about to go viral. And he gets to pick the network. Alex, can you explain picking the chain or the network?
I'm trying to think of a good analogy for this. Effectively, what you're doing here is deciding upon which blockchain you're going to create this collection that we're putting together here. And, there's a lot of things to consider. I would say, depending on what the point of your collection is, perhaps one chain is like better suited for that. If you want it to do something specific, perhaps there is a chain that makes that easier. If you're only interested in just making it, fast and cheap, then, perhaps you have a lot more choices. There's some research that we need
Data
to go
storage
into.
too. Danny asked, like, what if we wanted to put a short film on chain, and transaction limits or block space limits, these are technical terms, but depending on what you wanted to put on chain, that would affect which chain you wanted to choose, because it would be expensive. There might not be space.
Might be slow to retrieve.
Yes.
Yeah, you might have to do different things to host that information to pick, where it is even available to be hosted.
Yeah. But could you do it? Absolutely. You could put your, business incorporation documents on chain. I mean, there are lots of different things you might choose to put on chain.
You can see over here, underneath click to upload, just kind of what they're specifically looking for. So you have a max upload size of 50 megabits. The options for file types that they support here on this particular tool are just GIFs, JPEGs, PNGs, and SVGs. There are other NFT creation platforms that support more stuff, MP4, different video files, all that sort of stuff, different size limits, different storage limits, all that kind of stuff. But, at this point, I don't know I've never done this on OpenSea, so I don't know what they're going to charge me if we were to get up to that point. Obviously, I'm not deploying a collection right now, but it is quite literally that simple at this point.
Yeah. And honestly, there are other sites that make it even simpler. Odyssey, Abstract has token launchers. There's one I like called Party, which allows you to launch a non-fungible or fungible token in a couple of clicks. Like, let's say you wanted to have a group of investors and you wanted to pool your money together so that anybody anywhere could take out the tokens to make a bet with, or take out their share of the money, or just track stuff together on chain. You could do that. There's lots of options. Brianna asks, is OpenSea only for NFTs? Yes. And it's only for certain kinds of NFTs. Like Alex showed us that menu of all the chains they support. But within those blockchains, especially on the Ethereum network, there are many protocols, meaning like standard pieces of computer code for different types of NFTs. You could have an NFT where all of them tie to the same asset, like a general admission concert ticket. All our tickets, they're semi-fungible. You might have one where everything points to a totally unique, there's so much. Tokens, the big takeaway from this episode, especially if you're new, is this. Tokens are a new medium. The same way you can turn a piece of paper into a painting, or fold it into origami, or write a poem on it, or use it as the coaster for your coffee cup. Tokens are an infinitely programmable medium to make meaning about money, identity. You could use this for licensing, credentialing, storytelling, and most of the ways that this stuff will be used haven't been invented yet. But thinking about it that way will help you spot a promising use case from something that's just, buy this token, it's super hot, now. That's mostly just crap. Alex, you want to move on and tackle the Satoshi question? Who is Satoshi Nakamoto, you might be wondering? We don't know, do we?
No, we don't. One person, multiple people, a group.
Alive, dead.
Invisible pink unicorn. We don't know.
This is the principal founder or founders of the Bitcoin protocol. The computer code that everybody who maintains the Bitcoin network runs on their computers, that everybody who buys, sells, trades, holds Bitcoin relies on and can verify on chain. It is the start of cryptocurrency. And Satoshi Nakamoto has several wallets, meaning private keys that are affiliated with their identity, that have been dormant, that hold, what is it, like 1 million, 2 million? It's like
1 million.
1 million Bitcoin tokens
Is the famous one, yeah.
And there are 21 million Bitcoin. there are like 3 or 4 million that are believed to be like totally lost. People who held the wallets died, they didn't back them up, can't recover them, whatever. And so the question is often asked, because these wallets have been dormant for a long time, what would happen if Satoshi Nakamoto's wallet came online? And it's an important question to think about the implications of, because they're myriad. Alex, do you want to start and just spitball about like what would happen? First of all, maybe is a good place to start. How would we react?
Panic.
Yeah. Be like seeing a ghost in the attic. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Panic for sure. Now, I think you could make a pretty compelling case that like long term, it would actually probably be good for the network. So several things like contribute right to the perceived and realized and recognized value of a Bitcoin. Scarcity being kind of the biggest one. The fact that it is a digital asset that is provably scarce thanks to its code. However, that million exists. There's no guarantee that it can't move. It's in a wallet, and theoretically, someone could have access to it and could make the decision to do something with it. It would not inflate the supply. It would change the supply in circulation, because that is largely recognized as being Bitcoin that is out of circulation. There is an estimated, 3 to 4 million Bitcoin that are either lost, dormant, no one has access to anymore because wallet owners have passed away or lost access to the wallets for whatever reason. There's a very famous case of some poor soul who's digging through landfills for years trying to find this hard drive. I forget how much money that dude has spent trying to recover this hard drive that has a gajillion Bitcoin on it, but that's a thing. I think finally threw in the towel, allegedly, but
yep, in a UK landfill.
Yeah. So immediately panic. Long term, I think we'd be fine, and I would even make the case that like long term, it would be good to not have that kind of anvil hanging over all of our heads that could theoretically move at some point, because there's always the potential that happen. And so there's like the fear, the anticipation that it's possible that Satoshi's Bitcoin moves, and I would say it probably also depends what happens to it. If it if some of it gets transferred, or if all of it got like broken up and sent out to, if you divided it up into 100 different chunks, that million Bitcoin, and all 100 of those chunks got sent to other like known long-term holder wallets, that would be very different than if all of it got sent to a centralized exchange. I mean, imagine the difference between
or a mixer and laundered.
Yeah, exactly. So, it's one of those kind of fun thought experiments. Like, what if? It's a thought experiment, but I can say pretty confidently, short term panic, long term probably be fine.
Yeah, and just some other things about it. Quick facts. Exchanges like Coinbase, like Binance, they have monitoring systems for high impact transactions. So if there was a sudden transfer from a wallet affiliated with Satoshi or any early miner, it would immediately be flagged and analyzed in real time, because there's a possibility that Satoshi's wallet movement or any dead wallet movement could mean that somebody has cracked a quantum algorithm that can break Bitcoin's encryption. It could mean a lot of different things, but the Bitcoin core community has discussed contingency plans. They're working on quantum resistance. It's not an impending threat. It's something we're mostly prepared for. And one writer summed it up. I really like this, Alex, that Satoshi Nakamoto's wallet is one of the greatest mysteries in modern finance, not because it changes the system, but because it symbolizes it. If the coins ever move, the reaction will be immediate and far-reaching, like you say, but the blockchain itself will keep on producing one block every 10 minutes uninterrupted. I thought that was pretty cool. And it really does make you feel like the fundamentals of Bitcoin long-term, they would probably be just fine and might even become more resilient if that were to happen. I think it's very cool. Probably. Great question. Okay, so now maybe we round out the show and do some dogs and ponies with this final question about 7 S-tier crypto tokens for a long-term investment. Alex is going to tell us what to buy, and then we'll just we'll never do the show again. We're done. right?
Yep, that's it.
Yay!
We've all been leading up to this moment where I finally start shilling something and then we leave.
Hey there, normies. It's the perfect time to buy.
Please answer from the comments. No, I can't do that for you, but what are you going to do instead, Alex?
My annoying answer is that, so the way I actually did this video a long time ago, I could probably do a refresher. I try to separate cryptocurrencies into categories, and most things fall into the same category. So when you think of crypto and buying crypto, largely you don't think of it as investing in the traditional sense, the same way that you would invest in the S&P or the NASDAQ through your 401k or your IRA. Because you can't be that hands-off with most of these things. They're too new, they're too sketchy, there's too many things that could go wrong. It's way too volatile. These things disappear all the time. There are millions and millions of different cryptos, and it takes absolutely nothing to launch a new one. New ones are launched every second.
Yeah, you saw how easy that NFT creation was on Alex's screen share. It's simple.
And even easier would it be to create a crypto that's not an NFT.
Yeah.
So I always try to think of these things, I try to see, okay, well, which ones are closer to fitting into the category of something that you would call an investment? What are you cheesing at?
I'll tell you in a minute. It's fine. I was laughing at Ethicalish, who said, it's me. I didn't want to come back to it. He said, it's me. I am Satoshi Nakamoto. I have chosen today and the Rise Up Morning Show to announce this because I am the best part of what they do.
Amen. So I always think of okay, if I was to look at a company that I was going to buy the stock of, what would I want to see? I would want to see revenue.
Revenue. Is it real? Yeah.
Growth, a plan, adoption, users, customers, profit,
products, services,
things, right? We don't look at crypto that way. And so the number one thing to remember about investing in crypto is that largely what you're doing is called venture investing, which you approach extremely differently than that you would traditional investing, like you would be saving for retirement. Put 150 of your dollars every single month into an S&P 500 index fund, wait 40 years, right? That's traditional investing. You can't do that with startup companies because they die all the time. 90% of them will never turn a profit. And most of those will never, live to see their first birthday. So if I think about things in the crypto space that I'm actually comfortable, tucking money into, it's a really short list that I don't have to constantly monitor.
Yeah, I don't even know if I could get to 7.
Oh, I could not get to 7. No, I can tell you that right now. I know for a fact I can't get to 7. Because you have Bitcoin would be the one that I'm the most confident in actually investing a little bit into on a regular basis and never thinking about.
Correct.
Going down the list, Ethereum, I would put some money into on a regular basis, and I would still think about it. So even already, we're starting to get away from this, I'm never going to think about it again. The farther down that list you go, the farther and farther away we get from set it and forget it and never think about it again. I mean, if we think about cryptos that have good revenue, Solana, killer revenue, Ethereum, killer revenue, individual protocols. I mean, I'm trying to think. You can look all this up on DeFi Llama, by the way. Revenue is largely public. I say largely because not everybody reports everything, but you can get a pretty good idea. Even already moving down those ecosystems. I mean, who's got Base? Base has revenue. They don't have their token, although apparently they're floating the idea of making one, which means they're going to make one.
Which means Machiste is getting an airdrop, which means we're swimming in the pool, man.
Yeah. Which means, don't forget us little people. I mean, Avalanche has revenue. These big ecosystems have revenue. So, you start kind of looking at the ecosystem tokens. Those are safer. Nothing is 100% safe. Crypto.com has revenue. Their token sketches me out because they proved relatively recently that it's actually bullshit and doesn't mean anything.
Same.
Yeah, bearish. Binance has killer revenue. So and it's no surprise. BNB is top 10, has been top 10 for a long time. I'm sure Ripple makes money. They are not one of those that reports the same way that others do, but
are you sure? I'm not sure.
Yeah, from trading XRP.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think they make money. I know they make money from selling tokens, but
yeah,
I don't know if they make money.
Well, no, I don't think I don't think their purpose is to make money.
Yeah,
I think they
a lot
make
of money one time
from XRP, and then they get to go do their thing.
Right.
It's like ICP. Definity makes money from the ICP token trading, and then they can go do whatever the hell they want. They don't have to be profitable because they have the token. So that's something you can watch out for as well. I don't know. So I would not, I couldn't, I'll give you 7 things that I like that I'm interested in, but it comes with the heavy disclaimer that these are not like investments in the traditional sense where I would say confidently, I would put $100 into each of these things every month for the rest of time and feel good about it. So you've got your Bitcoin, you've got your Ethereum, you've got your Solana. Those are, the big 3 ecosystem wise that have revenue, users, adoption, stuff being built there, ecosystems that are doing well. From there, it all starts to kind of drop off, but Avalanche has adoption. I'm interested in that one. I think that's a weird one to see not get as much credit. They're constantly doing stuff. They're experimenting. They're breaking things. They're repositioning and trying again. They have revenue. They have things being built there. They have people who really care about it and who like it and make stuff there and users. It's a boring choice, but USDC, there's a lot you can do with it. You can earn, like I said, you can change your savings account to USDC. You can make good interest there. Like we've been saying, I'm a big fan of DeFiCarrot more recently. Their token doesn't work the same way that more classic tokens work. It's not like a volatile asset. It's a specific kind of token. I don't know. Who else would you throw in that list of things that you're specifically super interested in?
You know what I would actually throw in that list is not a crypto, but it is a crypto investment play. A longer term investment I would feel confident making is in the company Stripe. I don't know if they're publicly traded.
Yeah.
But they just acquired Bridge. They've acquired Privy. And they are about to have a serious role in the next chapter of crypto's story because they're making it possible for companies to offer regulated, compliant, safe, audited stablecoins. That's going to be huge. You didn't get into it, but wallets as banks, Simon said yesterday, I'm pretty bullish on companies doing that. Robinhood would probably be another one, if not Coinbase stock would be another. I would probably buy Coinbase stock before I bought the base token. Well, I would buy the base token first because it'll probably start out at a lower floor and eventually get, bigger. But Coinbase stock is a good one. Probably going to be around a while.
Yep. In that same vein, Circle stock, USDC is killing it. They make good revenue. I would say the wallet thing is interesting to me too, because I hadn't thought about that until he phrased it that way. We always think about exchanges as banks, but wallets as banks makes more sense. It's an account that you can take anywhere.
Yeah.
So, as we start, because MetaMask is talking about their token more and more, this eventual MetaMask airdrop, whatever the hell that's going to look like. So, they're a huge one. Phantom does not have one, but easily could. Rabby, Trust Wallet, all these other wallets. It's probably an eventuality that these things will be more bank-like and offer more in-app services, swapping, saving, staking, yield farming, interest earning, yada, yada, whatever. So those would be more interesting too. Effectively, you can boil my list down to who's making money, who has revenue, who has users, and who's actually created a product that anyone gives a shit about.
Yeah. And in that list, I would maybe say Chainlink. Letty brought it up on TikTok. And here's my thing though, is Chainlink or HBAR or Cardano. These are great companies who definitely have product market fit. Probably Chainlink is the best example in crypto that's not Bitcoin of product market fit in my mind.
They're a B2B company who has a tremendous amount of adoption with their target audience. They've succeeded.
But the thing to remember about this is that even greater adoption of something like Link, which seems inevitable, is not necessarily going to translate to an increase in usage of the token. I want to kind of, as we wind down to final thoughts, my kind of final thought is like, be careful about utility and remember what we said about blockchains. Understanding the use case of blockchain will help you to tell like the promising stuff from the crap. I hear people say often about Bitcoin, it doesn't have any utility. My brother, my sister.
It's a crazy thing to say, by the way.
Bitcoin has the most utility of any other cryptocurrency, bar none, fight me.
Yeah.
The ability to permissionlessly, uncensorably, anywhere with an internet connection, get access to a store of value, not just money, a store of value, a valuable thing which will increase in value over time is designed that way. That is about the most useful thing I can think of in a world where money is pretty much the key to experience the fullness of life. HBAR, Link, sure, they're building like very specific niche use cases that will solve big problems. But think about this. I, as a company, don't need to buy a lot of HBAR, a lot of Link, a lot of Cardano to use to build. Even if every company, this Swift thing comes to fruition, even if every company starts using Swift's new blockchain for payments and Link is behind it all, every company in the world started doing remittances and global payments on it. The link it would require to use their oracles to fetch and refresh data would amount to like 5 figures a month at that rate. That's not going to move the market cap on a $1 billion, $20 billion, $50 billion token, a company. The thing that's going to move the market cap for those companies, where people don't need to acquire the token to use the solution in as big a way as they do with Bitcoin. You got to buy Bitcoin to use it. The most utility ever is speculation. I think ultimately, like Alex said, any of those don't have the same kind of long-term position in my portfolio because they're not always going to be as relevant in the conversation. And that, like Amso said, mind share is a lot of the time what drives like something's price, especially with, a meme is the extreme example. Is it relevant right now? No, forget it. Will it be relevant in the future? Maybe, but do I want to gamble on that? No.
I think this is a great opportunity to say that just because this comes up a lot, just because something is a stock does not necessarily mean that it's like, I say this all the time, that it's not necessarily a good investment, or like every stock is not necessarily a good investment. Yep. I bought plenty of stocks that I took a speculative gamble on that turned out to be awful, and they company went out of business, stock went away. So stocks are vehicles for speculation too, and I think just because it's been around for so long, it's really easy to forget that it's basically the same thing. One of the biggest reasons that TradFi, traditional finance, the stock world, is so hard on crypto is because crypto like blew the doors wide open that were very, very tightly guarded for a very long time about who gets to do the thing, which is create a thing, an asset that you can sell to people that they can believe gives them ownership. Like, I could right now go to my brokerage account with Charles Schwab and purchase Disney stock. If I showed up to Disney headquarters and showed them my stock, you think they're going to like automatically let me in the building or give me like, no, they're not. Perhaps if I own a stock, I can earn a dividend on it, and maybe that makes you feel differently. But like, I hate to break it to you, there's a tremendous amount of cryptos that do way better than give you a dividend for the exact same reasons the stock is able to give you a dividend from the company. Ford Motor Company are able to give you a dividend because Ford has products, they have users, they have customers, they make money, they can share. Crypto works the same way. The reason so many people get so butthurt about it is because the barrier to entry has been taken from here and put all the way down there. And we are all allowed to participate. And that really pisses a lot of people off because the stock world has been so gatekept for so long. I mean, think about how hard it would be right now if Evan and I wanted to take Rise Up Media public and do an IPO, right?
Yeah, it'd be tough.
I mean, how much money, how much paperwork, how many people would have to be involved, how much time. We straight up, we wouldn't qualify. We wouldn't even be allowed to. But we could tokenize the business and launch a crypto in 10 minutes from now for $2 if we wanted to.
Yeah, baby.
And that really offends people. So I do firmly stick to, and I will die on the hill, that 99.9999999 basically everything in crypto is a speculative play that you would have to make from the perspective of a venture capital firm. You are investing money in startups that are largely pre-revenue, pre-product, hoping that they pay off. But I just think I think that rant was worth having, just because I think, crypto gets a bad name, and really the biggest reason that it gets a bad name is because of how many people are allowed to participate that haven't been until now, and how angry that makes the money grubbers.
So as we prepare to ride our dogs into the sunset, it's been a very thematic episode of, Web3 101 Wednesday, the culture of crypto. And I want to end with my final thought that you are so needed here. Whoever you are, whenever you listen, we often say, because it's true, that you're the very best part of what we do. The Web3 movement, the blockchain movement, it needs your perspective, whether you're technical or not, whether you're old or young, you're gay, straight, black, white, whether you live in America, Africa, Antarctica, Australia, or somewhere else entirely, because this is a general purpose technology that's going to affect all of us. And it's up to all of us to tell a better story. Alex, have you got a final thought, a last joke, a good question, a word of wisdom for our friends before we ride our dogs and our ponies?
Nope, that was my final thought.
Great.
That stocks are the same shit. And the biggest reason people are pissed about crypto is because of how much it lowered the barrier to entry of playing in the financial world.
Beautiful. Bearded says USDC to $2. Great final
Amen.
thought. Sarah B says, I love crypto. Eddie says, thanks.
Me too.
And if you are still waiting to get your question answered, I see Brianna has a question. I see some lingering questions. Jump in the community. It's community.rumshq.com. We will see it, because though the show is live Monday through Thursday, we are live 24/7 in the Rise Up community, where the only thing missing is you. I will be live at the top of the next hour, 10 a.m. Central. I think I said 11 earlier in the show. Sorry. For the PizzaDAO dispatch from Nepal. You can check that out at my X, at their X, which is, if you're interested, at
What the hell?
pizza_DAO. I don't know, Alex. We can still hear you. Sorry, TikTok, we lost
It
him.
was so weird.
Pizza_DAO dispatch from Nepal at 10 a.m. Central. I'll be hosting there, and then we'll be back for Rise Up After Dark in just a few more hours, 7 p.m. Central Time tonight. Until then, everybody jump in the community. Thank you for being the best part of what we do. Stay safe. Be well, my friends. Everybody, rise up.